ਕੀ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦਾ?
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Today we'll be talking to the Sangat in Delhi, hoping for them to engage us now so we can then start talking. You need to have a look, Gurpreet Gursev is coming on. It's not this one, is it?
No.
So we should be going live with the special program today. With the Sangat in Delhi, just waiting for them to join us. So we just need them to come on board and send us a request to join. They haven't sent it already, have they? Check it out. Just checking. So looking forward to this talk. Should be quite exciting talking to the youngsters at the university in Delhi. So we're just waiting for them to send us a request to join. So we just want to double checking that we are about to join a chat in Delhi with the university for the youngsters, talking about KhalsaAid and its history, its plans, and what we're going to do in and around India and around the globe. We're just waiting for the university to join us. Sure it's not this?
No.
So be patient, guys. Just be patient. We are joining. Who are we looking for the name?
The handle.
So be patient, guys. We're just waiting for them to join. Sorry for the delay. Just hang on, guys. Just hang on. We're waiting for the guys in university in Delhi to send us a request to join them live with the students.
Is sent the request first.
So just be patient, guys. We're just waiting for the link for the Delhi University for the talk. Quite exciting to chat to the young minds in India. We just need an invitation from them to join them. So we're searching through the invitation. That's what you sent to us, is.
Yeah, we will send it from here.
But we haven't even maybe followed them. Maybe that's probably why. They haven't got a request.
Please send.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Very good, very good. Do I need to talk louder or is it okay?
It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Excellent. Yeah, sorry for the delay. There's a lot of technical problems running around trying to make it happen. So apologies for the delay.
So, sir, no, sir, not at all, sir. So, can we start now, sir?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਰੀਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੂਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਹੈ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਅਜਨਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਗਲੇ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਹੈ
ਹਰ ਘਰ ਹਨੇਰਾ ਹਟਾ ਕੇ ਚਿਰਾਗ ਜਲਾਇਆ ਹੈ
ਸੈਲੂਟ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਸ਼ੂਰਵੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਥ ਦਾ ਮਾਣ ਵਧਾਇਆ ਹੈ
ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਏਡ ਨੇ ਸੱਚ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਹੈ
ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਏਡ ਨੇ ਸੱਚ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
Ji ki fateh. Wow, that's very, very humble. Thank you. बहुत ही बढ़िया लिखा थे बिल्कुल very emotional. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, sir, first of all, a very warm welcome to the man who sees this world with the lens of equality, the biggest hero and the epitome of humanitarian beliefs of our times, Sardar Ravi Singh Khalsa. We welcome you, sir. Tan, man, tan. ਨਾਲ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੇ ਸੱਚ ਕਰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਮੇਰੋ ਰੂਪ ਹੈ ਖਾਸ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਮੇਹੋ ਕਰੋ ਨਿਵਾਸ Sir, you have truly made the Sikh community and the entire human race proud and honored. Today, people round the globe look at KhalsaAid with hope and aspiration. On behalf of our college, Shri Guru Gobind Singh College of Commerce and Team Entrepreneurship Development Cell, I, Muskan Chugh, President of the cell, feel honored to be sharing this space virtually with you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for doing this with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling blessed and honored to talk to you, all the young minds. And I think it's important for me to always engage with individuals like yourselves who are about to set, on this path of life to see how we can be successful and share that success with those who are in need. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, let's start with the interaction. So, sir, could you please tell us the thought and the inspiration behind setting up KhalsaAid? I mean, what was the motivation and that one driving factor which made you set up such a wonderful and such a humongous organization today?
Well, I think the inspiration comes from, as for all of you guys, it's the same for myself. It comes from our gurus, our Gurbani, individuals like Paikanayaji, the concept of langar, the concept of sarvata pala. So in 1999, we thought, why don't we do something, give something to the world when we're celebrating 300 years of the Khalsa. Unfortunately, the word Khalsa and the concept was being eradicated by many people around the world who are against the principles of the Khalsa. So we called it KhalsaAid to tell the world that the Khalsa isn't a terrorist, Khalsa isn't something evil, that Khalsa is a humanitarian. Every Khalsa is an ultimate humanitarian. And we're Sant spies, we're saint soldiers, we're saints most of the time, but when we see oppression, zulm, and injustice, we always become soldiers. So KhalsaAid name came forward, and then I said, okay, look, it's 300 years of the Khalsa, it's 1999, why don't we give something to the world? And from then, we never look back. So the inspiration, it comes from it's from a Gurbani. And, when you go to the Gurdwara, each Gurdwara has a big Nishan Sahib. That's a symbol of hope. These are our mobile Nishan Sahibs. So these are symbols of hope. So we started KhalsaAid. So inspiration is all around us. You guys are the inspiration. You know, you want to do something. You want to serve the community. You know, we can see so many inspirational figures even today.
Yes, sir. Truly the right words. Truly.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one of the greatest idols of KhalsaAid is togetherness and collective action. So, sir, how do you get the strength of getting people of the globe together for one cause?
Sorry, repeat that again.
Sir, how do you get the strength of getting people of the globe together for one cause?
I mean, generally, people want to do good. Generally, people are good. Wherever you go in the world, you may see war, you may see conflict. People are good. Majority of the people who are good want to do good. But many people like yourselves, or you can see your parents, they're very busy with their lives, with businesses, with raising children, raising you guys. They just need someone to give direction. Say, look, let's do it here, let's do it here, help us do it like that. So a lot of people do want to serve humanity, but many people weren't sure how. So KhalsaAid has become like a facilitator. We're giving direction, so we don't need to give any greed, or like they say in Punjabi, lalch dena. People, especially in the Sikh community, they want to do seva. It's in them to do seva. They want to do seva in the house, they want to do seva in the community, they want to do seva in the Gurdwara, and now they want to do seva in a greater cause. Like you're in Delhi, and during this oxygen crisis, so many individuals, Sikhs, organizations, they stepped forward, and the public supported them, because the public generally wants to do good. And as I said, unfortunately, many people are tied up in their daily tasks. So I don't need to do, I'm not a holy man or a Baba or whatever. I'm just a normal guy. So like saying, showing some sort of direction, say, look, we can do seva here, we can do seva there, and nobody has monopoly on seva. Seva belongs to everyone.
True, sir. Before we proceed forward, I would really like to step up and say that the kind of efforts that especially KhalsaAid, in the ways that KhalsaAid has helped India during the COVID crisis, is indeed commendable, and we are all really very thankful to each and everybody who stepped forward and took up the initiative to help the people in need. We indeed are.
We've got a great team in India. We got absolutely wonderful volunteers who ask for nothing. They just want to do seva. And the lead team is led by Amarpreet Singh for the last 6-7 years in India. He's doing fantastic. He's a young guy. And again, it's the volunteers. It's the volunteers that make it happen. We can do whatever we can, but on the ground, during these oxygen crises, we had so many hundreds of volunteers, and they are being the key to serving the community. So, you know, when people say, who are the real heroes, it's the volunteers.
Yes, truly, definitely, sir.
Respected sir, in an interview of yours, you explained the name of your organization, KhalsaAid, as the ultimate humanitarian. Could you please tell our viewers more about it? Also, could you please tell our viewers about your current projects and long-term programs?
Yeah, sure. I mean, long-term projects around the world, you mean, or just India?
Around the world, sir.
Okay. So, Khalsa is an ultimate humanitarian from its history. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Khalsa. There's a misconception that Guru Gobind Singh Ji was the first Khalsa. Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the same Jyot. So, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the first Khalsa. And the Khalsa, we've always spoken up against injustice. Guru Nanak Dev Ji took on the emperor, spoke against the human rights issues. All our gurus stood against injustice. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji laid his life for someone to practice their own faith. It was different to Sikhi. Gurus gave up everything for justice, to fight oppression, and to make sure there's a fair society. So we are the ultimate humanitarian. And then 1699, we were given this identity. And, when you talk about United Nations, and, United Nations, we were the first ones in 1699 to have the identity of the Saint the saint soldiers, that we should be serving humanity and defending it with every means possible, which was the phrase "Deg Deg Fateh." So sometimes we talk about the Deg, but not the Teg, because we think like, no, it might offend someone. You can't run away from who you are. We are Sant Spahis. Deg Deg Fateh is part of us. We will serve the Deg and we'll defend it with the Teg. So we are the ultimate humanitarian. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਬਰਦਸਤੀ force ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. We don't attack anyone. All the battles we've had have been defensive. Our gurus had battles with the Mughals, with the Hill Rajas, with all sorts. It wasn't against any religion or Hindus or Sikhs or Muslims or Christians. It was against the oppressor. So the Khalsa never stopped serving humanity. We don't pick on saying like, oh no, there's been 1984 Sikh genocide, so we're not going to give food to the Hindus or the Muslims. No, we don't do that, because we don't blame the general public, the people, for the acts of criminals or oppressors. So that what makes us very special. The langar continues throughout the world, from all over India to the borders of Iraq and Syria. That's the power of langar. That's what the ultimate humanitarian is, that we don't have hate, excuse me, we don't have hate for any faith, any people, any community. We serve everyone equally. And the projects around the world, we got water projects. We're running a project now, a new project we launched in a very, very small country in Africa called the Gambia. If you search it, you'll see it's a tiny country. We're starting water projects there. We got great teams in Zambia, Malawi, Kenya. They're doing water pumps. We got great team in India, like I mentioned. They got welfare, education, health projects, and we want to do more health projects in Punjab and rest of India, especially for the women in the rural areas. That's my ultimate goal, that we should have more care for women in very, very poor places. We still got COVID situation in India. We're still doing what we can for the COVID and launching new projects. So when you say like how many projects or what we got planned, we got Susan in Iraq. She's doing fantastic work for victims of ISIS. Our programs, our projects are expanding all the time. So is our teams. Like we got Canada, we got KhalsaAid USA, Canada, UK, Australia, India, now hitting Europe. So yeah, it's always expanding, especially in Punjab and India. We will do more projects. I hope you guys will join in some of the projects in Delhi.
Yes, definitely, sir. We have volunteered in a lot of KhalsaAid, programs and everything, and camps also.
Brilliant, brilliant.
There were also camps and everything which took place during the farmers' protest in India. So a lot of our friends were also volunteers for KhalsaAid over there.
Brilliant, excellent. Oh, that's wonderful. Especially the farmers' protest. They went through very, very cold weather to now very, very hot weather. So they still need a lot of help.
They're still at it. They're still at it.
So, sir, you've been to the most dangerous places and battlegrounds of the world. So, sir, how do you gather the courage to help others by risking your very own life at the same time?
Well, when you're born in a Sikh family, you believe that every day is a bonus given by the Almighty Vaheguru. So nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Vaheguru. So if everything belongs to God, you shouldn't be fearing going into serve humanity. So when people say, what do you need to serve humanity? I said, you need an open heart, that you can't have any hatred for any people or religion or race. And you need to be fearless because ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਭਈ nothing belongs to me, ਸਾਰਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰਾ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ. If everything belongs to God, why are you fearing? Why are you worried about anything? So, you know, in the old days, it was different. I would go in, put my trust in people in Somalia, in Congo, in other parts of the world. I put my trust in people because I believe, like I said before, people are generally good. So we shouldn't be judging every person in a country. Like, for instance, you know, you got both countries, India and Pakistan. You know, the people who do hate campaigns against each other will keep talking negative, make it look like that both countries are full of murderers. You know, you can't go there. It's not the case. I've been to both countries. People are people. You know, so I don't see myself like getting, you know, thinking like it's too dangerous or we can't go in. Like, let me give you an example. 2014, when ISIS were on the rise in Iraq, many of the organizations left. And we were going into the areas where all the organizations had left the area. So we were going in. Because, you know, if you, so like, as an organization, we have a responsibility for our volunteers and our staff. So we do everything we can to minimize risk. But then there are places that people like myself will go, senior people, we won't send the volunteers because the risk is too high. So you have to take a personal choice. You know, what happens if there's a war breaks out? What if, you know, you get caught up? Everything goes through your mind. The last thing we think about is being courageous. I don't think we think we're courageous. I think we think we're just serving humanity. It doesn't even come to our mind that something, you know, could happen, it could affect us. We just see people suffering and help. We can't sit back and watch. There are places on earth where we can't access, we can't go because everything has been shut down, borders been sealed. That's a different story. But places where we can go, even if there's war, the courage doesn't come from who we are. The courage comes from the belief how we got here. You know, if you believe in everything belongs to God, then you have to be fearless. You can't keep fearing.
So I'm a little bit curious. I mean, while we see organizations like KhalsaAid doing so much for, you know, the welfare and in the common good, but at the same time, I still feel that a very huge part of the world still lacks, you know, the morals of humanity and the morals of sensitivity. So, as youth of the country, as youth of India, what do you think we can do to get people to, you know, be a little bit sensitive, to be a little bit empathetic towards the common good? How do you think that can happen?
Well, unfortunately, many of the countries in Asia, including India, is tarnished with corruption, social injustice, no equality. If the youth of India really want to do something, and I mean all of youth, not just the Sikh youth, all youth, and I believe the youth now do have the power to make the change if they so wish. First of all, they need to create a tolerant society. Youth cannot accept a society which is intolerant. I've seen for myself where some religions, some faiths are being attacked because of their faith. Some people are being attacked because of their faith. This is like Nazi Germany. We shouldn't accept extreme intolerance. We should stand up and speak up. If the youth really want to make a change, they have to fight social inequality. Social injustice is the biggest problem at the moment in many countries, including India. You got the very, very, very poor people, then you got the super duper rich. I'm not a, you know, communist or whatever. I don't believe in forcing people, but I am a human being, and I think when I see intolerance or social injustice, and I see the youth keep silent, for me that is a big heartbreak. And I'm thinking these youths, they live in a time of social media. They can raise a voice. Before you can say we don't have a voice, now every single person who has access to social media has a voice. You can reach the globe. Sometimes that voice or that opinion may not be popular amongst your friends, because I can tell you now, when you talk about, say, 1984 Sikh genocide, if you post anything on that, your own friends from India will turn against you, not just non-Sikhs, even some of the Sikhs. Why are you raising this? Why are you living in the past? You know, you're Khalistani and you're anti-India, you're anti-Hindu. They will do all this lies and propaganda to shut your voice down. Your own parents will tell you, don't talk about it. But you have to know what's right. If you really want to change, you know the old saying, Sawa lakh se ek larang. You guys can affect the Sawa lakh. Each one of you can reach a Sawa lakh. You can feed a Sawa lakh. You can change the minds of Sawa lakh. The road to having social justice, people who stood up for social justice, for justice generally, has never been easy. People around you will bring you down. But if you believe that something is wrong, if a young, say for instance, a young Muslim is being lynched in the middle of Delhi because of his religion, and you don't speak up, then you need to question yourselves.
Right.
What am I? What is my purpose? I keep my mouth shut, or do I open my mouth, become unpopular, but I have my conscience? So the message to the youth is, you have to speak up. You got to create a tolerant society. An example I talk about is when we talk about 1984 Sikh genocide, thousands of murderers killed the Sikhs, thousands of Sikhs in 48 hours. There were thousands of murderers with iron rods. And when they went back to their community, and that community remained silent for 37 years, they hit that violent person. They hit those violent people. And in return, that created a very violent community around them, the fear. So unless you raise your voice, you can't blame anyone. Everything begins with you. So the youth have a huge responsibility. It doesn't matter what religion you are. If you want to make a better India, if you're patriotic Indian, you have to create a place which is safe for you, your children, and everyone else around. The youth have a huge responsibility. Whether they take it or not is up to you guys. But if you're looking for popularity, keep your mouth shut. If you're looking to change the world, open your mouth.
Sir, your way of thinking, indomitable courage, and steel will is really mesmerizing. Could you please share some memories of your first project with KhalsaAid?
First project was in 1999, going to Albania. And that was, again, a very big eye-opener, because in 1999, when KhalsaAid was formed, there was no Sikh organization from doing this sort of work, international work. And the great thing is that made me very happy is, like, people didn't say, oh, those refugees are Muslim, we don't help them. People donated very generously. And I remember going in, one of the biggest memories of the first trip, we were working on the mountains with Albania and Kosovo where the war was. And it was very, very cold. And the refugees were crossing the mountains to escape the war. And we had a truck full of food left, and we were coming back to the UK. So we had our own food and own clothes. So we said to some of the guys, including a guy called Tony, I said, Tony, we should give everything extra to the refugees because we're going to go home. We don't need it. We'll get more on the way. And so we got the food, you know, the Punjabi matri and all this stuff. We got it all together in the kapde. We made a bundle. So when we see a couple of refugees or group of refugees sitting, you quickly run and you drop it next to them. You don't stop, because when you stop, a lot of refugees come because they think we can give aid. So you have to be very fast. Make a food bundle and clothes, run up, give it to them, and run back to the truck. I remember running to these 3 people, and as I dropped it, the lady, she must be about 80 or 90. Her husband, her son who was blind, he is about 35, 40. They were trembling. She was very old, and she grabbed me like this. And like I was trying to run back, but she grabbed me like this. She just kept looking at me. I still remember her. I still remember a very old woman, very cold, sitting on the floor, just across the mountains. Those 25, 30 seconds were like 2-3 days. I felt like I was there forever because she was looking straight through me, going like this, grabbing like this, and I couldn't pull away. It's like really heartbreaking. What do you do? There are so many memories like this. And that's what I say to people. Don't judge people by their religion, by their race, by their color. See people for what they're suffering. And that could be your grandma, that could be your mother. Sikhs have been refugees twice last century. So when we've been refugees, we should be more sensitive.
So I would like to add for both the questions, the last 2 or 3 questions which you answered, that देश शिवावर मोही है शुभ कर्मंते कबहू ना करो. And I feel really proud today. We all, my entire college feels really proud today, as our college also says, Manas ke jaat sabha ek hai pehchan wo, and same is being carried out by KhalsaAid as well. So, sir, where do you expect KhalsaAid from a few years from today? And we also would love to hear your message and your advice that we and all other viewers as youth must follow.
I think KhalsaAid continues to grow. There's a lot of love. Unfortunately, there are right-wing groups in India, especially the media, who are spreading lies about KhalsaAid because they feel threatened by KhalsaAid. We're not against anyone. We're not against any people. KhalsaAid equals humanity. KhalsaAid equals love. KhalsaAid equals justice. KhalsaAid isn't just a Sikh issue or organization anymore. KhalsaAid is global. And it is showing that we can all work together. So KhalsaAid, because of people like yourselves, people who want to change the world into a better world around them and a wider world, they join KhalsaAid to do it. So it's going to continue to grow. But I think generally, if people like you guys have any issues, say, you're not sure about what KhalsaAid is doing, how do we address the situation, you can always approach us. You can approach myself. If, we're in the UK in the office. So the way KhalsaAid grows isn't very black and white, like, I don't want to talk to people. I listen to people all the time. So I always tell people, if there's any issues, talk to us. So, sorry, what was the second half of the question?
Sir, it was that we would love to hear your advice and your views that we should work upon as youth and do for the betterment of the society. I
think, as I talked about before, social media has brought us together. And the way we're moving forward, if we want to claim to be better people, this isn't a race anymore about who's a better religion, who's a greater, who's the best. It's more about who is the most tolerant, who is the most respectful. What are we looking for in life? Are we looking for dignity for ourselves? If you're looking for dignity and respect for yourself, you have to give that to the world. If some minority in any part of the world, say the Yazidi community who were taken slaves by ISIS, there could be minorities in India, could be in Africa. If they're struggling, speak up for them. Sometimes we let our dirty politics divide us. So my message is, you got to rise above hatred, you got to rise above intolerance, and most of the time, you got to rise above this program that we continually told that we're better than other people. When there's a talk of war, I notice sometimes on social media here, when tensions rise between, say, India and Pakistan, a lot of people coming in, both sides start swearing, shouting, let's go to war. Let's show them, let's teach them a lesson. It's both sides, India and Pakistan. Teach who a lesson? I like to know who they're going to teach a lesson. If Pakistan attacks India, India attacks Pakistan, we're all going to be suffering. Every one of us will suffer. There won't be a group that won't suffer. So we need to think a bit more peaceful, more diplomacy. And the young people, my advice to the rest of the people listening in, make your government officials accountable, especially in India. I've seen in Punjab, when people become MPs, they own the police, they own everything, they can do what they want. They think they're above the law. You want something done, go to an MP. You want somewhere done, pay someone this. Fight the corruption. Fight this sort of government officials that are letting you down. It doesn't matter which party it is. It could be AAP, Congress, BJP, whatever. It makes no difference. If you want my advice and you say, how do we build a better world? Make your officials, make your government officials, make every government department accountable, because you can do much as you can, but it also depends how the police force, how the law, the justice, the judiciary, how does that operate? You guys have a great opportunity to challenge so much. Challenge all this injustice. Challenge corruption. This is beyond faith. This is not about being a Sikh, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian. This is just about being a human being. So question everything, challenge everything, open your mouth. And if I say to you, hashtag 1984 Sikh genocide, you should question that. Say, what is that? What really happened? Not straight away answer back. No, don't talk about it. Bury it. You can't bury some of these issues. We have to tackle them head on. So if you want to change India, you have a great opportunity to change it, bring back social justice. So I will keep repeating the same thing. You have to fight for social justice. It starts with you in your house, in your area. Start with your region, your area, your district, and it'll build up. You can all do something, but do you want to do it is the question you have to ask yourself.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Definitely, sir. It is a very thought-provoking question which you've raised, and I think that one thing which everybody needs to realize is to first question themselves. That what are they doing? What can we do? Instead of going out there and thinking that probably someone else is going to come up and do this for them. God, those who help themselves. So we really need to help ourselves first. That's what I think. I mean, as an individual, indeed, I think a very big message has come out from this conversation, and that is to first introspect and to see, yourself first before questioning anybody else.
Also, sir, I would like to add a few beautiful lines of poetry to your answer. लंघ जे जदों जवानी फिर यार याद आउंदे ने बीच दे जदों वेला फिर प्यार याद आउंदा है उनकी कौमां बड़ियां जाते बड़ियां पर जद गल अनखां दी आवे जद गल सेवा दी आवे सरदार याद आउंदे ने जद गल अनखां दी आवे जद गल सेवा दी आवे सरदार याद आउंदे ने.
Wow, fantastic. Print karo, share it, social media everywhere, tag people in. That's amazing. ਗੱਲ ਉਹੀ ਆ ਨਾ, ਗੱਲ ਉੱਥੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਡਾ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਚੁੱਭਦਾ ਆ, ਦੂਜੇ ਦਿਨ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੌੜਦੇ ਆ. So they need to make their mind up. The Nishan Sahib is the ultimate sign, symbol of humanity, hope and humanity. Hope and humanity. We need to realize that. It is more than just a piece of cloth. It is everything that we represent. So be proud of it.
So we all are very proud.
And we sir even hope that ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਪਾਲਨ ਕਰੀਏ. We give it back to the community and the world along with the community. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I indeed feel that we have a lot to give back. And the day we start feeling this, that indeed, will be the beginning of the change for each and every individual. The day they start thinking like this, that we have to give it back, we have to give a lot back to this world in whatever small way we can, like you said, starting with your community, starting with your own household, probably treating the people who come to your house with a more equal point of view, with a more equal purview, like India and everything. That is how I think, as the youth of this country and as youngsters, we can really bring about a change, even in the long-standing mindsets of the older generation, like our parents. Even if they have this thing feeded in their head, we can really get it, out of their heads by taking an action ourselves. That's what I feel, honestly.
Yes. No, that's what I mean. I think we just need to have more dialogue, more debate. We should be discussing many more issues. We shouldn't be burying issues. I mean, you're in Delhi, so outskirts of Delhi struggles, a lot of slums and all these areas. And you guys, when you go and see these places, you feel helpless at times. You wish you could do more. But it starts with a single person, like you guys helping the farmers protest, or your friends or your family. It starts with that single action. Take the first step. Once you take the first step, your family and friends will support you. They just want someone to take the first step.
Yeah, and even in today's times, I feel like education is a very strong weapon. From a very young age, in schools and from the point of view of education, I think a lot can change if teachers and all the other, parents take up this responsibility of sensitizing their children towards what is wrong and what is right. I think this definition of what is wrong and what is right needs to change for most people. Because when we grow up, we already have a long, a very long thought of, a chain of thoughts that this is right and this is wrong. Who does that conditioning for us? I think that really matters. The conditioning.
Of course.
Through education and throughout the course of our childhood. That conditioning is what brings about a change, I feel.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. It's what we're brought up with. We sometimes fall victim to misinformation, living in hatred for other people. So we have to educate ourselves and those around us. Absolutely. Education has always been the key. So this is what we can raise awareness on many issues. So social media helps with that, where you're learning something and then you're instantly sharing it with the world. In the old days, you learn it, you have to write it down, it's in your notebook. Now the social media is your notebook. Your notebook becomes, as soon as you learn it, you stick it on that, the whole world gets to know it. It's amazing how much information one person can share to educate other people around you. And that's what I use my social media for. And that's what's a beautiful thing about social media, that we can share information, we can raise awareness, we can have discussions. And if somebody's being hateful or trolling, just block them, don't engage them. But a lot of people, like you saying, they want to learn, they want to share. And education is the way forward.
Also, sir, I'm sure that after this mesmerizing interview, all our audience watching will pay their due debt back to society and follow your footsteps and give back to the community for what it has given them.
Yeah, well, hope so. Like I said, everyone can take a step. And in Sikhi, it's like Savalak. So Savalak starts with Langar. And the Langar concept is a concept of equality and justice. And it's an amazing concept by our Guru Sahib. So hopefully you can feed a person in your street. You can watch someone freezing in the winter and give them something warm. Every action leads on to more and more people joining in. Never feel that if you start something, just a quick recap that when KhalsaAid started, there was no social media. Social media came 8 or 9 years later. So it didn't come in now. So when you guys are doing something, you can share it instantly. and that raises that awareness to a lot of people. But
Right.
you guys have much more than we did. When we started KhalsaAid, we had no social media. It was only myself or the email. But you are in a very fortunate place, so it's amazing. Yeah, please, hopefully, we'll change some of your minds.
Sir, it indeed will. It indeed will. And so just one small thing which you talked about langar, and I would want to say that how beautifully have we used this concept of langars in the recent past during the COVID-19 pandemic when everybody was crisis and oxygen crisis. So many people came out and they said that come and we are organizing an oxygen langar. So how beautifully has the concept translated to now, oxygen langars and people helping each other in the name of distributing free oxygen to the ones in need. I think all this really makes a difference.
Also, sir, I'd
Yeah.
like to earlier the concept of langar. It was just confined to the four walls, but you have taken it internationally in the form of food, in the form of supplies, in the form of support, and most important, in the form of love. And I think that's really motivating.
Now, langar has been saving lives on the border of Iraq and Syria, where people have been starving. The refugees have been hungry. So it's an amazing concept. We just done, like you said, we kept it in the four walls, and we keep fighting each other. So let's take it outside and show the world how beautiful it is. And a lot of people around the world are now much better. They're healthier. They're alive because of langar. And even in India, some of the poorer areas, the Gurdwara Sahibs are serving langar day and night.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, sir, what would your message be today to all of us? Anything that you would like to tell us?
Well, basically, it's the old saying, which I still believe is very relevant. Be the change that you want to see.
Right.
It's a very simple message, but only a few will understand it. What do you want to do? Whatever path you choose, be true to yourselves. And like I said, sometimes that doesn't mean you're popular. It means you have to take on more challenges, but at least you're true to yourself. Always be true to yourself.
Right.
Right, sir. Right. So, sir, it was indeed an honor to join with you today. And on behalf of the college fraternity, our principal, Sir Jatinder Veer Singh, and our convener, ma'am, Bhupinder Kaur, ma'am, I would like to extend a very heartfelt thank you to you, sir. Thank you so much for your wise words, for your time, for your efforts, and thank you so much for this, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation, and thanks to everyone who invited me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It really means a lot.
It really
means a lot to us.
Thank you ji. Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh.
Bole so nihal.
Sat Sri Akal.
Thank you.